for loop is basic, we have seen. Now, today we'll be seeing some more details about these loops. There are three keywords which we shall see today, and the first one is going to be continue. Okay, so again, resuming the same conversation which was going on between an executive and a programmer, where the programmer says, do you know that security check process is different for different types of passengers? So the executive said, yes, I have heard it. So go through the below code and guess the output. Assume A to be adult passenger. Now, before I go ahead, I would like to assign a task. So from A division roll number 10, the next task is for you. A division roll number 10. Okay.
Yes, sir.
So here A implies adult passenger, C implies child, SC is flight captain, FA is flight attendant, SC is suspicious passenger. Now here we have been given a code, and the first line says for passenger in. Now what we have is a string type variable. So first we have A in double quotes, then again we have A in double quotes, then we have FC in double quotes, C, FA, SC, A. Now this is what we have. Now from the line above, we understand A implies adult passenger, SC means flight captain, FA means flight attendant, C means child, and SC means suspicious passenger. We are aware the long form of it is given above. Now line number 2 of the code says if passenger equal to SC or passenger equal to FA, print no check required. Continue. If passenger equal to SP, print declare emergency in the airport, break. If passenger equal to A or passenger equal to C, print proceed with normal security check. And line number 14 and 15 of the code says print check the person, and line number 15 says print check for cabin baggage. Okay. So now, row number 10, can you suggest, in this case, what is the output that we are going to get?
Roll number 10. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Sir, first, if the if statement is correct, so it will like print no check required. Then it will continue for the next if statement. So if it is suspicious, then it won't like it will stop over there, and then it will move for the 14th and 15th line, like I guess check the person and check for cabin baggage.
Okay. Now, row number 10, you have kind of been correct partially. So let's discuss this. In line number 1, we understand it's a for loop. For is the keyword. Passenger is the variable name given by us, okay, or maybe by entity. Now, in is a keyword. Now we know that keywords are basically reserved words which cannot be used by variables. Okay, they have certain specific purpose which is understood by that language. So we have for, which is a keyword. We have in, which is a keyword. Now here passenger is a variable name, and here we have A. Now this A is a string, and because of this double quotes, we understand the data type is string. The next A, again there are double quotes which tell me it is a string. Next is FC with double quotes, so I understand this data type is also string. So all the data types, if you look at this line, they are going to be string data types. Okay. Now the way for loop works is, first of all, this first A will be assigned to the passenger. Then we go to line number 2. If passenger, which is nothing but A, equal to FC. So this is going to be false. Do you agree? Roll number 10. Roll number 10, are you there?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So can you repeat?
So passenger value in the first loop, in the first iteration is going to be A because that's the value which passenger got. So when I come to line number 2, A equal to FC, this is going to be false. Similarly, A equal to FA, this is also going to be false. So when I say false or false, the corresponding answer is going to be false. Because the condition inside this bracket is false, line number 3 and line number 4 will not be executed. Now my question to you, roll number 10. Why did I say line number 3 and line number 4? Why did I not simply said line number 3?
So because a continuous part of like it is in the and it comes under if like not sure, but
The
it
answer is
is
correct that it comes under if. Now
yes.
you already said that in other languages like C++, Java, and so and so, whenever a statement if continues to be true, you execute a block of statement, and that block of statement will be distinguished with the help of opening and closing curly brackets. Those brackets help you identify which is the block to be executed, the content to be true. But that is not a case with a Python. In a Python, we have to look for indentation. So when I look at it here, in line number 3 has got certain indentation. And when I look at line number 4, it has got similar indentation. Indentation is nothing but the space. This space is referred as indentation. I'm showing that space with my mouse. So line number 3, this is the indentation. Line number 4, this is the indentation. And by looking at it, I realize the indentation is same. Because the indentation is same, I understand line number 3, line number 4, they are part of the same block. So if the if condition turns out to be true, the line number 3 and 4 are going to be executed. If it turns out to be false, line number 3 and line number 4 will not be executed. In our situation, line number 2 turns out to be false, so 3 and 4 will not be executed. Why is that so? Because currently passenger is assigned a value A. Now we come to line number 6. If passenger equal to SP, so passenger value is A. Is A equal to SP? Answer is no. So therefore this bracket is going to be false. Because this bracket is false, line number 7 and line number 8 will not be executed. So we go to line number 10. In line number 10, we have passenger equal to A. In other words, A equal to A. So this condition is true. Or passenger equal to C. Now because the passenger value is A, therefore this condition will turn out to be false. So on one side of the OR, in between we have OR. On the one side we have true, other side we have false. So true or false will turn out to be true, and therefore this condition inside a bracket is going to be true. Because this condition is true, line number 11 will be executed and it will say proceed with normal security check. Then we have line number 14, which will print check the person, and line number 15, which will print check the cabin baggage. So this is how it will work for case number 1. I see there are 2 raised hands. Please ask your query.
Sir, can you please explain this for passenger in statement? I didn't understand that.
Okay. Now here we have for, which is a keyword. Then passenger is a variable name. In is again a keyword. Now here what happens is, first of all, this value A will be assigned to passenger. In the next cycle or in the next iteration, this next A will be assigned to passenger. In the next iteration, FC will be assigned to passenger. In the next iteration, P will be assigned to passenger. In the next iteration, FA will be assigned to the passengers, and so on. Is this clear now? What
So
happened?
means you're
Sir,
trying
I
to
have
say
doubt
that
in this assignation. Like
Yeah.
if we assign that,
Let's finish the girls' doubt first.
okay.
She has already
Okay.
started asking it. So after that is finished, I'll take up yours. Yes.
you're talking about the iteration over here, but then
Yes.
over here, if iteration is same, so I don't know. I didn't understand only.
I didn't get the question. And
Sir,
what is it that you did not understand?
सर मेरे को समझा नहीं कि पैसेंजर इक्वल टू FC it is why it is wrong, why it is false.
Okay. Now, when line number one gets executed, since it's a for loop, when you say loop, I understand that it is going to be executed repeatedly. Is this part clear to you? That's the loop, right?
Yes,
Iterations
sir.
are happening.
Yes.
So it keeps on taking different values and accordingly keeps on executing it. Now here, the first value this variable passenger will take is A. Is it okay?
Yes, sir.
Now, when I come to line number two, the passenger value is A, and this is equal to equal to. Equal to is not an assignment. It's a logical operator which is comparing the two variables on left and right. On the left hand side, I have a string A. On the right hand side, I have a string FC. And because they are not matching, they are not same, therefore my answer is going to be false. Is it okay?
Okay, sir.
Same logic is applicable when I look at it here. The passenger value in the first iteration is going to be A, and on the right hand side of this comparison operator, here I have FA. So since A string is not equal to FA string, therefore this condition is also going to be turned out to be false. Now I have OR, which is the logical operator. False or false, the final answer turns out to be false, because 0 or 0 is same as 0. Because this bracket condition turns out to be false, line number 3 and 4 is not executed. Is it okay, Mansi? I guess your query is resolved.
Yes, sir. Yes,
Yeah,
sir.
there is some boy who also has a query. Please ask.
Yes, sir. What if we instead of writing that A, that comma A first, writing that okay, that FC and FA. So the condition will be true and the statement will be executed, right?
Yes. So as far as explanation is concerned, I just gave explanation for only first iteration. That loop is not over yet. I just gave explanation for first iteration. That's what we were discussing about. That's what it is and how the things are. In fact, there's a lot more to come. Shall I proceed?
Okay.
Okay. So now I hope that first point is clear, that while iterating, this A will be assigned first, then this A will be assigned, then FC will be assigned, then C will be assigned, then FA will be assigned, and so and so. This is how assignment is going to happen. That's the first understanding. Now this particular exercise is to understand some basics. Okay. And to be very precise, we want to understand continue, which is on line number 4, and 8, which is on line number 8. That is basically our learning at this particular point. That what are these words and what do they do for us? That's what we are going to learn now. Now here we understood line number 2, there is a if statement. Line number 6, there is a if statement. Line number 10, there is a if statement. And line number 14 and 15, there are print statements. We understand that from line number 2 up to line number 50 is the part of the body of that for loop. So in that for loop, when you start executing any particular iteration, you are going to execute from line number 2 up to line number 50. That is our first understanding here. So let me tell you how things work. So first this A will be assigned here. Here this A, because it is Deepak sir,
Manoj sir, I guess he's on call. Wait for something.
Deepak sir.
Yeah.
Sir, just a request. Can you share the morning video lectures into the GC when it will be made?
Which one?
The morning video lectures recorded.
Okay. Okay. I'll share. Yeah.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
Yeah. Okay, Utkarsh, notes for PS is not yet shared. Manoj sir will share the notes.
Okay, sir.
Yeah. Maybe today before 5:30 we'll share the notes. So students, join your GCR. I'll check the list of students who have joined. So parallelly, in this session only, you open your invitation and join GCR for PS. All of you open your email ID, join GCR.
Okay, sorry for the interruption. Now
Okay.
here,
I just announced them to join GCR.
okay, good, thank
They
you.
want notes.
Yeah. So now we are here to focus on line number 4. We are here to focus on line number 8, where our new learning is going to come. Okay. The other parts being easy and we are kind of already aware. Okay. So here, now when line number 1, the first A will be assigned to this variable passenger. Next, this A will be assigned. Next, FC will be assigned. Next, C will be assigned. Next, FA will be assigned. Next, SP will be assigned. Then A and then again A. This is how in every iteration the next will be assigned to it. Okay. In line number 2, let us take up the first A is assigned, and when you go to line number 2, if currently passenger value is A equal to FC, now that will turn out to be false because the two strings are different. This equal to is a comparison operator. It will compare these two strings and it will give result false because currently the value of passenger is A. Next, this passenger is also A. When you again compare by this equal to operator, again this will also turn out to be false. So false or false is going to give you false. So if false, so if this condition turns out to be false, obviously speaking, line number 3 and line number 4 is not going to be executed. Next, so we go to line number 6. If A, because now the passenger value is A equal to SP? Answer is no. So this is also false. Because this is false, line number 7, line number 8 will not be executed. Then we go to line number 10. If passenger equal to A, now here passenger value is A, the first condition will be true and the second condition will be false, but in between we have or. So true or false will be finally turned out to be true. So if true, because the condition is fulfilled, we are going to execute line number 11, which says proceed with normal security check. That is what is going to be printed. Once that is done, then we execute line number 14, check the person, and then 15, check for the cabin baggage. This is what will happen. Now, once this is done, again the control will go to line number 1, and this next A will be assigned to the passenger, and the same thing that I discussed just now will happen. So let's proceed further. Next, FC, where FC means flight captain. This FC will be assigned to the passenger. So in line number 2, passenger is FC. So FC equal to FC, it will turn out to be true. Whereas this condition, FC equal to FA, it will turn out to be false. Now in between we have OR operator. So this true or false. So final answer is going to be true. Because the condition inside the if block turns out to be true, therefore line number 3 will be executed. So it will print no check required. And after that, there is line number 4, which says continue. Now this continue is a keyword and it has a very specific purpose, which I want everybody to note very carefully. The task of continue is skip the remaining part of the iteration and go to the next iteration. So it says that skip the remaining part of the iteration. What is the remaining part? From line number 6 up to line number 15, that remaining part will be skipped and you will go immediately to the next iteration. Therefore, this C will be assigned to the passenger. So row number A10, is this part clear to you? What I said just now, the function of control?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Understood.
Very good. So now this C will be assigned to the passenger. So now in line number 2, C equal to FC, false. C equal to FA, false. Since this if condition is false, line number 3 and 4 will not be executed. We'll go to line number 6. In line number 6, we check C equal to SP, false. Therefore, line number 7 and line number 8 will not be executed. In line number 10, C equal to A, false. C equal to C, true. So false or true. So this condition finally turns out to be true. Therefore, line number 11 will be executed, line number 14 and 15 will be executed. Control will again go back to FA, and this FA will be assigned to passenger. In line number 2, FA equal to FC, false. FA equal to FA, true. So because the second condition is true, first condition is false, and in between we have OR. This condition, or turns out to be true. And therefore, line number 3 will be executed, which is no check required. After that, line number 4 is executed, which is continue. Now, this continue has a specific purpose. What it does, it tells to skip the remaining part of the iteration, and it will ask to go to the next iteration. So therefore, from line number 6 to line number 15 will be skipped. They will not be executed, and the control will now be going to the next. So it goes to SP. So SP is suspicious passenger. So now line number 2, SP equal to FC, false. SP equal to FA, false. Because this condition is false, line number 3 and 4 is not executed. Control goes to line number 6. Now here, SP equal to 7 will be executed. So it will print declare emergency in the airport, and line number 8 will be executed, which says brake. Now the way there is a keyword continue and it has a specific purpose, what continue did is skip the remaining part of the iteration and go to the next iteration. That's what it did. When it comes to brake, which we see in the line number 8, its purpose is come out of the loop. You stop the execution there and you come out of the loop. That's the purpose of the brake. So as soon as this brake is encountered, you will come out of this for loop. So therefore, the remaining part of the story, this is A and this A, they're just not going to happen because you will come out of the loop. The control will come out of that loop. So the task of the brake is to take the control out of the loop. So this brake will get out of this for loop. A10, is the funda clear to you?
Yes, sir.
And once again repeat, line number 4, we have a keyword continue. Its purpose is skip the remaining part of the iteration, go to the next iteration. That's its purpose. So in line number 4, whenever this line number 4 is executed, from line number 6 to line number 15, all those lines are skipped and control goes to the next iteration. Now line number 8, whenever it gets executed, which is brake, immediately the control will come out of that loop. So now it's like for loop gets over. You are out of the for loop and you will go to the next line, whichever the line is after that for loop, whichever line is, you will go to that line. The control will go to that line. That's the purpose of the brake. So brake will get you out of the loop, whether it is for loop, whether it is while loop, or whether it is any other loop. Brake means you will come out of the immediate loop in which that statement is encountered. Am I clear on number 10?
Yes, sir. Understood.
So we understood the purpose of continue and we understood the purpose of brake. Continue means skip the remaining part of the iteration, go to the next iteration. Brake means come out of the loop in which that statement of brake encountered. That's what it means. So with this understanding, now we are going to go ahead to the next understanding. Okay. So brake and continue statement. So when you want to stop a loop and break away from it, you can use break statement. Now we have already seen this particular code, and when you are going to do that code in your MPTQ website, this is what you will have, and you will be able to see it there also. Okay. Now we want to skip the remaining portion of the loop and continue with the next iteration. Then we use the continue statement, which I already explained. Line number 4. Now let's look at this. So now from A division, roll number 20, and B division, roll number 20. Please have a look at the code and tell me the output of this code. You have 4 options which you can see here. So do let me know. A20, B20. Both of you
Yes,
have a look
sir.
at the code. So code says number is equal to 28 for num in the range 25, 30. If num greater than number greater than num, print this, else print this, break, and restore. So yes, what will be the output?
Sir, mostly for the first one.
B division 20 is there? B division 20? B division roll number 20.
Okay, sir, you know what to do. A20, any suggestion?
Sir, is it answer C like 25, 26, 27, 28?
This is the answer you are suggesting, right?
Yeah, sir.
Let's check it out. Are you ready for the check? Shall we check?
Okay, sir.
Okay. Now, the first line is the assignment. To the variable number, we have assigned the value 28. In line number 2, it's a for loop. So for num, for is the keyword, it's a reserved word. In is also a keyword, reserved word. We can't make any change to it there as it is. Num is the variable which we have assigned. Then there is a range 25, 30. Now, as far as this is concerned, we know that this is the starting point and this is the end point given here. What it actually means is we are going to start from 25, increment in a step of 1, and we'll go up to 30. So A20, I made a mistake while giving this statement. Can you correct me?
Sir, the answer would be D, I guess now.
Wait. First of all, can you correct me? I said we are going to start from 25 and increment the value by 1 and we are going to go up to 30. In that statement, there is a mistake. Can you correct me? Yesterday we have seen range.
Sir, number less than 30, like 29 तक आएगा sir.
Okay, I think someone is talking. Who is that?
Sorry, sir, Mansi.
No, that's okay. Okay, Mansi. So if you are starting from 25 and you are incrementing by 1, you will go, this is your end point. You always go 1 lesser than the end point. You are going to start
Yes,
from
sir.
25, then 26, 27, 28, 29, which is 1 lesser than 30, and you will stop. So from 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, that's set. That's what we have. So first of all, this 25 will be assigned to this variable num. Then on line number 3, we have if number greater than num. Number is 28. Is 28 greater than 25? True. So print num.
Yes, sir.
So therefore, num is 25, which will be printed. Okay. Now, again, you will go back to this line number 2 because if condition is true, so else we are not going to be bothered about, right? So in line number 2, next value assigned to num will be 26. In line number 3, we compare is 28 greater than 26? Answer is yes. So you are going to print 26. Again, you will go to line number 2 and there you will assign 27 to num. So in line number 3, if 28 greater than 27, answer is true. Therefore, print 27. So 27 will be printed. Again, it will go to line number 2 and now 28 will be assigned to num. And here on line number 28, answer is false.
False.
Therefore, line number 5 will be executed, which is the else block. So when you execute it, you are going to print num. Now the current num value is 28. So you have printed 28. After that, line number 7 will be executed. So 7 is break. So what break will do? Break will get you out of the for loop. So now, even though this for loop is not complete, You are supposed to go up to 29. You are currently, this num value is 28, but because this break is executed, you will come out of the for loop. So therefore, the final answer is this: 25, 26, 27, and 28. Is this clear, A20?
Yes, sir.
Sure.
Yes, sir. I got confusion between. That's why I gave the other answer. Sorry, sir.
So I believe now it is clear.
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you. So let's proceed further. We understood how break plays a role. So let me quickly once again explain it here. Here we understood that for is the keyword, in is the keyword, and we understand we are dealing with a for loop. From line number 3 to line number 7 is the block of code which we are supposed to execute. Okay, and we are going to execute it repeatedly on this for loop. So the first value assigned to the variable num is 25, next is 26, 27, 28. You can go up to 29. But we realize that at one point where num is 28, line number 7 gets executed, which is a break statement, and therefore we come out of the for loop, and therefore the 29 value is never assigned to num. So the output that we get is 25, 26, 27, and 28. That's what we get. Okay. Now let's talk next. Here is the next question. Now I would like from B division, roll number 47. B division, roll number 47. Kindly respond. Here is the question for you. Predict the output of the following code snippet. And here is the code snippet starting from 1 to line number 8. Please have a look at it. And yes, 47. What is your answer?
Hello, sir.
Yes, Rufit. I guess you're having your lunch.
No, sir. Predict the Sir, if num a modulus gives 0, then it continued the statement.
Wait. My point is, I'm looking for the answer out of these 4 options. So what is your answer for this? You can take your time to think about the logic and then make your answer.
Okay, sir.
So maybe you can take a minute to give a thought and then we discuss.
Sir, B.
Okay, your answer is B. Let's check. First is line number 1, which is a for loop. For and in, they are keywords. Num is the variable. Now, these are the values which that variable is going to take. So in a first iteration, we are going to assign 23. In the next, we have 45, then 50, then 65, then 76, and then 90. This is how the values will be assigned to the variable num. So the first value is 23. In line number 2, there is a if condition, and the condition that we are checking is 23 percentage 5. It means remainder. When you take 23 percentage 5, remainder is 3. So is 3 not equal to 0? Answer is true. So therefore line number 3 will be executed. So because line number 3 is executed, it is continue. What does continue do? Continue says skip the remaining statement. So from line number 4 to line number 8 will be skipped, and control will go to the next iteration. So this 45 will be assigned to num. Now again, line number 2 will be executed. So 45 percentage 5 So 45 divided by 5, corresponding remainder is 0. So is 0 not equal to 0? What is the answer?
False.
Good.
False.
So therefore, line number 3 will not be executed. And we go to line number 4. So here, again, 45 percentage 10. So we are calculating the remainder. The remainder is going to be 5. So 5 equal to 0. So answer is false.
False.
Because this is false, line number 5 and 6 will not be executed. So now we come to line number 7. On line number 7, we have 45 percentage 3. So we are calculating a remainder. So if 45 is divided by 3, remainder is 0. So therefore this condition is true. And therefore line number 8 will be executed. And line number 8, we need num. So num, current value of num is 45. So 45 will be printed. So out of these 4 options, we now know for sure that 4th option will not be the output. That we know for sure because the first output is 45. Now next, this 50 will be assigned to num. In line number 2, 50 percentage 5 means you are calculating a remainder. So when you do that, remainder is 0. So is 0 not equal to 0? False. Line number 3 will not be executed. Line number 4, 50 remainder 10 means 50 divided by 10. Corresponding remainder is 0. Is 0 equal to 0? Answer is true. Therefore, line number 5 will be executed. So num will be printed, means 50 will be printed. And then the next statement is 6, which is continue. So this continue implies skip the remaining part of the iteration. So line number 7 and 8 will be skipped and go to the next iteration. So now this 65 will be assigned to num. Now before I go ahead, I realize that the second output answer. So answer is either option 1 or option 2. Now when this 65 is assigned to num, so 65 percentage 5. So 65 divided by 5, corresponding remainder is 0. So therefore, first condition is not fulfilled. Therefore, line number 3 is not executed. In line number 4, we have 65 percentage 10. So the remainder is going to be 5. Is 5 equal to 0? False. Because it is false, line number 5 and line number 6 will not be executed. In line number 7, we have 65 percentage 3. So we are calculating basically a remainder. So when 65 is going to be divided by 3, so corresponding remainder 65 divided by 3. So that turns out to be 2. So is 2 equal to 0? Answer is false. Therefore, line number 8 will not be executed. And you will go to next. Is this clear? Is it okay?
Yes, sir.
So therefore, can I say, because I'm not printing 65, therefore option 2 cannot be there? Is this okay?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
सर
So, yeah.
सेकंड इसमें मतलब अगर वो ट्रू रहेगा मतलब हमें 23 पे तो वो कंटिन्यू होने के बाद 4 और 7 वो एग्जीक्यूट नहीं होगा सीधा नेक्स्ट 4 पे
Yes.
नंबर पे
If
जाएगा
you encounter this continue, this particular keyword, all the remaining lines of that block are skipped and the loop goes to the next iteration. That is what happens. Am I clear?
यस सर
We were at 45 when this condition got 45 percentage 5. No, it will not. For 23, it will not.
23.
23 percentage 5. So you are calculating a remainder. That remainder turns out to be 3. Is 3 not equal to 0? Answer is true. Therefore, you have continue. So when continue is executed, the remaining from 4 to 8, they all will be skipped and the control will go to the next iteration. So this 45 will be assigned to num. This is how it happens. So we realize that our answer turns out to be the first option, which is 45, 50, 60. Even though we did not work with 76 and 90, but from that 65, we can make out that, okay, 65 cannot be part of the output. So obviously, first one is going to be the output. But I hope the continue and break is clear to you.
सर और अगर उधर ब्रेक रहेगा तो उधर 23 मतलब हुआ तो उसके बाद कोई भी मतलब एग्जीक्यूट ही नहीं होगा ना,
अगर लाइन
कंटिन्यू
नंबर
की
3
जगह
में
ब्रेक है।
कंटिन्यू की जगह ब्रेक है, तो 23 सपोज वैल्यू है, यहाँ पे कंडीशन ट्रू हो गया, आप ब्रेक में आ गए, इफ यू से ब्रेक you will immediately come out of that for loop. So forget about the remaining values. You will come out of the loop. Nothing is going to get printed because कोई print statement encounter ही नहीं होता है.
ओके सर, समझा सर।
Yeah.
So can you again explain 45? I kind
Okay.
of
Let's take
lagged
45.
between.
Let's take 45. So when I say 45 percentage 5, so I'm calculating a remainder. So here 45 divided by 5, that remainder is 0. So is 0 not equal to 0? Answer is false, because 0 is equal to 0. So when somebody says is 0 not equal to 0, I say false. When condition is false, line number 3 will not be executed. Then I come to line number 4. So 45 percentage 10. So when I calculate the remainder, it is going to be 5. So is 5 equal to 0? It is false. Because if condition is false, line number 5 and 6 will not be executed. In line number 7, I have num percentage 3. So it is 45 divided by 3, corresponding remainder is going to be 0. So is 0 equal to 0? Answer is yes, true. And therefore line number 8 will be executed. So I have num here. So therefore 45 will be printed. And because here I have end equal to double quote. So if you could remember yesterday that someone wanted all the outputs in a single line. So I had used this
Yes sir।
comma num equal to and then some space. So this is like output is printed and the control remains on the very same line after execution of this. So num will be printed. So in this case 45 will be printed. One space will be left and we will remain there on the very same line for execution. This is how it will happen. Okay.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
So with this understanding, now we are going to move ahead. So right now it is 12:56. Let's take a break here and we meet after 10 minutes. Okay, welcome back, all the students. I have shared a new PPT. I hope it is visible. So currently, we are discussing about the continuous statement. We have discussed about the break, and very soon we will also be discussing about one more such statement. Now, let's talk about this quiz. Before that, we have solved this particular quiz, and we saw that the first option was the answer. Okay, and now we are going for the next question. Fine. So now I'll suggest from A division roll number 15, 1-5, roll number 15. Can you respond? A division roll number 15. The question says predict the output of the following code snippet. And then there are 3 lines which are basically a nested loop. There is a for loop inside a for loop, and we want to know what will be the corresponding output. That's what we want to know. So A15. Next, A16, A division, roll number 16. A division, roll number 17. So Deepak sir, A division 15, 16, 17. Next.
Yes, sir.
This is
A15.
okay. Bhumika, have a look at the code, line number 1, 2, 3. And out of the 4 outputs which are being shown here, what is your choice? What will be the corresponding output?
Sir, 4th D.
Okay, you are saying answer is D, which is 10, 15, 20, 30. Is that okay?
Yes.
Okay, let's check out the answer. Now here, line number 1 is a for loop. So this is A15, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So now, can you tell me what will happen? What is the first value which is assigned to number?
10.
Okay. And in the next iteration, what is the value assigned to number?
11.
No,
No,
there
sir.
are only 2 values here, 10,
15.
15. So first, this 10 will be assigned to number, and next, this 15 will be assigned to the number. Is
Yes,
it okay?
sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay, fine. So now let's discuss about the first iteration in which this 10 is assigned to the number. Then line number 2 will be 1, 3. So whenever this keyword range comes, okay, so here
Yes.
this is the start value, which is 1. This is the end value, which is 3. So when you expand it, you will get 1, 2, 3. Is it correct?
Yes, sir.
No, it's not correct. We always go one value lesser than the end value. Here the end value is 3. That means you can go only up to 2. Is it okay?
1, 2. Yes.
Yes. So first 1 will be assigned to the counter. Then line number 3 will be executed. Print number. Now what is number? 10.
Yes, sir.
Into counter. Counter is 1. So 10 into 1. So what are you going to
10.
print? 10. So all the
Yes.
options include 10. Okay, fine. Then comma, end equal to, and then you have a space in double quotes, which indicates that instead of getting the output on the next line, you will get output on the same line separated by a space. That's what it means.
Yes, sir.
Now, this is an internal for loop. This is an outer for loop. Now, internal for loop is not over yet. So first we had assigned the value 1. Now we will assign the value 2. So now the counter will have a value 2. So when line number 3 is executed, this number is 10, counter is 2, So 10 into 2, which is 20. So therefore 20 will be printed. So out of these four options, option number 3 and option number 4 are wrong. Do you agree?
Yes, sir.
Because 20 is not there. So I understand I have to choose now between option 1 and option 2. Once
Yes.
this is done, now can I say internal for loop is over?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So therefore, now again the control will go to the outer for loop where this 15 will be assigned to the null. Then we have line number 2. In line number 2, this range, this is the start value is 1, end value is 3. It means that it can take values from 1, 2. So because of this 3, one value lesser than 3 is 2. So you can take value 1 and 2. So when 1 is assigned to the counter, then when the line number 3 is executed, number is 15 now, counter is 1 now. So 15 into 1, therefore output will be 15. So now out of these two options, we realize this is going to be the output, right?
Yes, sir.
Logically speaking, but still we'll execute it further. So now in the next iteration, it will become 2. So that 2 will be assigned to the counter. Number value is currently 15. 15 multiplied by 2, that gives you 30, and therefore 30 got printed. So option 1 is going to be our answer. Do you agree?
Yes, sir.
Clear to you?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So with this, now we are moving to the next question.
Sir, I have one doubt.
Yes, please ask.
Sir,
By the time you have your doubt, just give a thought to it. Okay, please ask your question if still you have.
Sir, I was just asking that the way and in a sequence that answer are coming, we have to choose that option instead of that arranging them and like in between that first and fourth.
Sorry, I didn't get. Sorry.
We get answer in the form of like 10, 20, 15, and 30.
Yes.
That so instead of that arranging them in a sequential manner, we have to choose that in which manner that answer is coming. Like here 10, 15, 20 are in that arithmetic order. So we didn't have to choose that.
I'm still not getting a question. What is the question actually? Are you saying that by looking at output, we have to gauge something or
Sir,
something?
first we choose for a number in 10 and then we multiply with 1, we got 10. Then we
Okay.
multiply by 3, we got that 30, right?
We got 20. Okay. Yeah. So because we got 20, I said obviously
Sorry.
line
Yes.
third and fourth options are not the valid option.
Yeah, right. Okay.
Yeah.
Got that.
Okay. Right. Yeah. So basically, because there were 4 options given and we have to choose the correct option, therefore I suggested that how we are going to do that. That's what I was explaining. Okay. Let's move on to the next question. Fine. So now instead of for, now we have a while loop here, and we are going to deal with the while loop. So I keep it open to both the classes. Whoever can answer this question, open to all. What should be in the code if the output expected is 4? So basically you have to go with these values, substitute them here, and you have to check whether you get output as 4. Now, if you note it here in this code, there is only one statement where printing happens, which is line number 7, where printing is happening. Now, for printing to happen, for num1 to print 4, you have to think back that what should be the case so that the 4 gets printed. That's how you could think about it. So you have this option given to you. One way is substitute these values here and go on trying. And the other way is you could think in a reverse way that, okay, if output should be 4, how we could get that option. That is how we could think. So let me take up this first option and show you the normal thinking. By the time anybody, if you have an answer, you can give that answer. So suppose we take first option, which is 12 and 5. So num1 is 12, num2 is 5. In that case, line number 3, num1, which is 12 greater than or equal to 2, condition is fulfilled. So condition is true. So therefore line number 4 will be executed. Is 12 greater than 5? True. Therefore line number 5 will be executed. Line number 5 says num1 is equal to num1 by 2. Now num1, that value is 12. When you say by 2, so 12 by 2, that makes it 6. So now the value of num1 is 6. I see there are 2 raised hands. I'll just finish this particular iteration and just get back. Okay. So since num1 turns out to be 6, I put a value here 6. So is 6 greater than or equal to 2? Answer is yes. So therefore line number 4 will be executed. So is 6 greater than 5? Answer is yes, because num2 is 5, num1 is now 6. So yes, true. Because it is true, line number 5 will be executed. So it says 6 divided by 2, that makes it 3. So now num1 is 3. Now because num1 is 3, again we come back here and check our condition. Is 3 greater than or equal to 2? Answer is yes. Now we check line number 4. Is 3 greater than 5? Because num2 is 5. Answer is no. So this condition is false. Because this false, this will be executed and print num1. So our num1 is 3. So 3 will be printed. Okay. And then break. So we'll come out of the while loop. So we understand that this is not going to be an output. 12,5 is not an output. So I see there are many raised hands. So I'll take up the first one. B15, Deepraj. Yes, Deepraj. What is your solution for this?
Answer 8 at 8,2.
Sorry, 8,2 is answer. Is what you are saying, right?
Sir, it is 16,6.
Okay, so two different people, two different answers.
So answer is 8,2.
8,2. Okay, let's test.
16,6.
Oh, fantastic. So let's check
16,6.
Let's check 8,2.
16,6.
16,6.
16,6.
Okay, fine. I see there is a majority for 16,6. So let me check with 16,6. So there is a 16,6. So num1 is 16, num2 is 6. So now, line number 3. Is 16 greater than equal to 2? Answer is true. So line number 4 will be executed. Is 16 greater than 6? True. So line number 5 is executed. So 16 by 2 makes it 8. So now num1 is 8. Control will go back to line number 3. Is 8 greater than equal to 2? True. So line number 4 is executed. Is 8 greater than 6? True. So therefore line number 5 will be executed. So 8 by 2, that's going to be 4. Now again control goes to line number 3. Is 4 greater than or equal to 2? True. So therefore line number 4 will be executed. Is 4 greater than 6? False.
False.
Therefore line number 6 will be executed. And line number 7 will be executed, which is printing num1. Num1 is 4. Answer is correct. So 16,6 is going to be the answer. So congratulations, whoever got that particular answer. Now let's check, because some of them also said 8,2. Let's check where it fails. It's interesting to know the failures too. So num1 is 8, num2 is 2. So is 8 greater than or equal to 2? Answer is true. So therefore line number 4 is executed. Is 8 greater than 2? True. So therefore line number 5 will be executed. 8 by 2 makes it 4. So now num1 is 4. Now control goes to line number 3. Is 4 greater than or equal to 2? True. So therefore line number 4 will be executed. Is 4 greater than 2? Answer is true. Therefore line number 5 is executed. So 4 by 2 makes it 2. So now num1 is 2. Now control goes to line number 3. Is 2 greater than or equal to 2? Answer is yes. Line number 4. Is num1, which is 2, greater than 2? False. So it comes to line number 6, and therefore line number 7 it will be printing 2, which is not the desired output. So therefore it cannot be an option. So 16,6 is the correct option, and congratulations all those who thought of that answer. So with this understanding, we are going to move ahead, and we are now going to understand something which is our next understanding. We talked about continue, we talked about break, but now comes the new one, the new statement, which is pass. So continue, break, and pass, they are very, very crucial keywords which you are going to use repeatedly when you are going to do your programming. So now predict the output of the following code. Line number 1 says counter is equal to 0. 2 says while counter less than equal to 9. 3, if counter %2 equal to 0. Line number 4, pass. Else, line number 6, print counter comma end equal to with spaces, and 7 is equal to counter plus is equal to 1. This is what we have. Now this pass statement, okay, in Python, pass is a statement which can be used to do nothing. Please note, to do nothing. On encountering pass, nothing will be executed, and control will move to the next statement applicable. So when the pass is there, nothing happens. Absolutely nothing happens. It's just doing nothing. That's the pass statement. Now, it's very interesting, okay? It's very, very interesting. So before I go ahead, let me first of all look at the output for this. And you have this code and you have corresponding output. So I would like to know, this is an open question to this class. What will be the output of this particular code out of the options which are given to you? At the same time, I'll assign this task to A division CR. I guess A division CR is, she's good, yeah. I forgot the name. A division CR? Vaishnavi, yes.
Yes, sir.
Yes. Could you suggest out of these options, what will be the option corresponding to this code, where there is a new learning pass, and pass means do nothing? A very interesting code. Okay, I see 847. Shivam has raised the hand. Yes, Shivam, what is your answer?
Sir, since line number 3 indicates that we should not print even number, so in output wherever the input number will be present, we have to eliminate that. So I will go with option number either 1 or 4. But since here 9 is included, so I will definitely go with option number 1, that is 13579.
Okay, fine. Good logic. I liked it. Well, we need to test it. I mean, we need to test whatever he says is right or wrong. So, A division CR, you have anything? or maybe we can together solve and check. Okay, yeah, so help me out with this. Now
Yes,
first,
sir.
counter is equal to 0. So this 0 is assigned to the counter. While counter is less than equal to 9, so condition is true. Because condition is true, this while loop is going to get. Now counter value, currently the value is 0. Percentage 2, so you are trying to calculate the remainder. So 0 divided by 2, the answer is going to be 0. So is 0 equal to 0? Answer is yes. Condition is true. Because condition is true, line number 4 is executed. But line number 4 is pass. And pass means do nothing. So will not do anything. And again, this else will not be executed. This line number 6 will also not be executed. But line number 7 be executed. And that counter value will now become 1. So again, control will come to line number 2 in a while loop. Again, condition will be checked. Is 2 less than equal to 9? Answer is yes. Sorry, is 1, because earlier counter value was 0, here it became 1. Is 1 less than equal to 9? Answer is true. Because it is true, line number 3 will be executed. Is 1 percentage 2 equal to 0? Answer is false, because the remainder is going to be 1. Because the remainder is 1, this condition is false. Line number 4 will not be executed. Line number 5 will be executed. Therefore, line number 6 will be executed and they'll be printing 1. So now we understand either it is option 1 or option 4. 2, 3, and 5, they are all not possible. So either answer is option 1 or option 4, because we know that first output is 1. After that is done, line number 7 is executed, so that 1 becomes 2. Again, control will go to line number 2. Is 2 less than equal to 9? Answer is true. Therefore, line number 3 is executed. Is 2 percentage 2? So you are calculating the remainder after dividing it. So when 2 is divided by 2, remainder is 0. So because 0 equal to 0, because this condition is true, line number 4 will be executed. 4 says pass, and pass means do nothing. So nothing will be done. So line number 5 and 6 will not be executed. Line number 7 will be executed, and that 2 will now become 3. So is 3 less than equal to 9? Answer is true. Therefore, line number 3 will be executed. 3 percentage 2. So 3 divided by 2, remainder is 1. Is 1 equal to 0? Answer is no. So this condition is false. Because it is false, line number 4 is not executed. Line number 5 is executed, and therefore line number 6 is executed, and you have an output as 3. So as per this logic, if you go on doing it, you will start printing 1, 3, 5, 7, 9. So as one of the students suggested, the option number 1 is going to be our answer. Is this okay, everybody? So now,
Yes, sir.
to CR Vaishnavi, my question is, what do you think could be a use of pass? Line number 4, there we have this statement pass, which does nothing. So according to you, what could be the use of it?
Not sure, sir.
Okay, I throw it open to the entire class. Any suggestion, anybody? What could possibly be use of pass? Yes, I see A47 has raised the hand. Yes, Shiva.
Sir, we use pass keyword when we don't have anything to print, but we can't like if we have in if block, we have to, if we use if condition, we have to definitely write some instruction in that block. But if in condition we don't have any instruction to give, then we simply use that, like we don't have to print anything and we don't want to give any instruction to compiler to run anything, so we use pass statement so that our code will be not terminate abnormally, and it will give an output.
Perfect. Many of the times what happens is when you are writing a software, you're writing your program, you do not know exactly what to include. Then what you do is, maybe after some time you'll be able to guess what it is. So as a placeholder, you just keep their pass, and that pass actually does nothing. But at the same time, if you run that program, there is no error. If you do not put pass, then there is a possibility for error. For example, in line number 3, you have a if statement. That statement is true. And in line number 4, you have written pass. If you do not write pass, it is going to lead to an error, because if condition is true, what to do is expected from you. I mean, there should be something if that condition turns out to be true, but there is nothing. That's the problem. So what we do is we do pass. That's one way of doing it. Many times what happens is, when we are doing it, we do not know exactly what to include there, which we may come to know after some time. So what we do is, as a placeholder, we just keep pass there. So this keyword pass makes sure that there is no compilation error. It will not affect the running of the other parts of the program, and it will make sure that these unnecessary troubles are being taken care of. In fact, many times, whenever you are writing, suppose you are writing your university question paper, and there are 6 questions given. So you start from question number 1, and then you come to question number 2. Now, question number 2, you are not sure whether you will be able to answer all the questions or not. So what sometimes students do is, they leave 1 or 2 pages and they start writing after 2-3 pages, leaving some pages in between, thinking that let me complete the other question, and when I'm clear about the question number 2, I'll get back and I'll complete it. That is how generally people seem to be doing. So something like that is happening in the programming also, that when you are writing that code, at that moment, you may not have a clarity about what is to be done here. So you simply put pass there. It's like a placeholder. It will make sure that there is no compilation error, there are no other errors. And when you know what precisely you want to do, you can remove this statement pass and you can put your code there. In fact, when you are going to do your NPTQ exercise, you will find this pass statement at many places, and there will be a comment written there that please remove this pass and write your logic there. This is what you are going to see many times when you are going to solve questions from NPTQ. Okay.
सर
Yeah.
वो जो इस कोड के लिए जो अभी पास कर रहे हैं वो कंटिन्यू भी वही करेगा ना इस कोड के लिए?
No. Pass means do nothing. Here it is like do nothing. Now in this case, suppose counter value is 2. So 2% 2. So remainder turns out to be 0. 0 equal to 0, condition is true. So pass is executed. Because pass is executed and pass does nothing, after that else block will not be executed, because if it's true, therefore x will not be executed. Therefore 6 will also not be executed, but line number 7 is going to be executed. Had it been continue, if it was continue here, then line number 5, 6, 7 will not be executed and you will go ahead. Am I clear?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, that is how it happens. In continue.
Sir?
If you encounter, yeah.
Sir, if you want to remove that, replace that pass, then what will we do?
You simply delete it and write whatever code you want to write here. We just have to click delete pass and go on typing the code which you want to type there.
If you want to ignore that if condition,
Okay.
then
If you want to ignore it, then you just comment it. So automatically that if condition is ignored.
नो सर, जैसे अभी आपने बोला कि इन्फिनिटिव पे बोला है कि पास रिप्लेस करना है,
हाँ.
देन लॉजिक यूज करो.
Okay.
देन इन दिस कंडीशन क्या आएगा उसके लिए?
So you have to remove pass and write the logic, whatever your logic is.
सर वो पूछ रहे हैं कि अगर इधर पास के जगह इधर कौन सा हम ला सकते हैं, मतलब और कुछ पास का ही काम करने लेकिन कुछ और.
Pass का ही काम करना लेकिन कुछ और. Then there is nothing like that. Pass is pass. I mean, there is nothing like pass. There is
सर
no other
ये
option.
समझा नहीं है पास का कुछ.
When line number 4 comes, it's just like program does nothing. It simply goes to the next line. Got it?
So, but what is the importance of that pass?
Importance is it's a placeholder that अभी मुझे मालूम नहीं है कि if this condition is true तो करना क्या है, अभी मुझे नहीं पता. बट मुझे 4 दिन बाद मैं जब इसके ऊपर अपना दिमाग खपाऊंगा तो मुझे याद आ जाएगा एंड देन आई विल रिमूव पास एंड आई विल राइट द कोड हियर. सो इट्स अ प्लेस होल्डर.
ओके मीन सर अगर पास हमें हटाना है तो वहाँ पे हमें कोई लॉजिक डालना पड़ेगा हमारा, ऐसा कुछ?
या आई मीन इफ यू जस्ट सिंपली रिमूव पास यू विल गेट एरर.
ओके सर,
यहाँ पे ना
अंडरस्टूड नाउ.
इफ इट इज अ इफ स्टेटमेंट there is a colon, after colon something is expected. If you don't write anything it will start give you compiling error कि अरे ये if के बाद तुमने कुछ लिखा नहीं है करके, ऐसा एरर आएगा तुमको.
सर मतलब अगर पास डाला तो वो ऑटोमेटिकली उनको समझ जाता है क्या, ऐसा कुछ है?
या इट आई मीन द कंपाइलर विल नो कैसे. ठीक है, पास मतलब कुछ करना नहीं है, वी जस्ट हैव टू गो अहेड.
ओके सर, थैंक यू.
यस, ओके फाइन.
Sir, means instead of pass, I can write their even condition in this code.
Yeah, you can write even condition. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you, sir. Got it.
Yeah. Fine. So these are some of the exercises. When you go on the NKTQ website, you will find those exercises there. Okay. Now let's move on to the next type. Okay. So here there are many collection of data types which are supported by the programming language, and let's start by exploring one of the most common collection data type. Collection data type is basically you have many data together. It's a collection of it. So it can be used to store a group of elements together in a sequence. Suppose we want to store ticket numbers allocated to each passenger traveling in a flight. Now, instead of using a separate variable for ticket number, we can use a list as shown below. So this is an example in which we have ticket number 1, then this is the number. Ticket number 2, this is the number. Ticket number 3, this is the number. Okay. So what we have done is we have put it in a list. So we said ticket underscore list is equal to, and the numbers which you saw there on the right hand side, those numbers have been kept here. Now, individual values in a list, these are called as an element. So this is a list and these are all elements of this particular list. So list is nothing but collection of the data types. Now here, in case of having different variables for each ticket number, variables will be stored in a separate memory location. Whereas in case of list, the elements will be stored in a contiguous memory location. So as you see here, the elements of the list will be stored in a contiguous memory location. Whereas instead of using a list, if you use separate 5 variables, in this case the list has got 5 elements. If I can easily use 5 different variables and I can represent those numbers. Okay, so variables of each ticket number will be stored in a separate memory location. So all these 5 variables, they will have a separate memory location, whereas in a list, they will be in a contiguous manner, just next to each other. Now, here is some example given to us. Okay, now let's understand. Now, each element in a list has a position in the list known as an index. The list index, it starts from 0. It's like having a seat number starting from 0. So I have elements. These are those 5 elements, 5 values which we saw in the previous slide, which is here. These are the values that we were discussing about. The very same values are here. Then they are indexed. So first one is 0, next one is 1, then 2, then 3, and then 4. Now suppose the seat number 2, now this is seat number 2, is allocated to passenger with ticket number 93634, which you see here. The passenger can directly go to seat number 2 without having to go through other seats. Similarly, index positions actually help us to directly access a value from the list. So list underscore name, opening and closing square brackets, inside there is a index. It can be used to directly access the list element at the mentioned index position. Now suppose we have to allocate different passenger to seat number 3. We can do it as ticket underscore list in the bracket 3 is equal to 13504. Thus, in addition to using the index to access an element directly, we can also use it directly modify an element in the list. So just like how we cannot allocate 101st seat to a passenger in 100 seat plane, we cannot access values beyond the total number of elements in the list. Now, in case you do that, you are going to get something called as index out of bound error. Now, these are some of the examples of the list. So I'll now call out for one name. So B division, roll number 25. B division, roll number 25. Can you respond? B division, roll number 26. B division, roll number 27. Deepak sir, I hope you are noting 25, 26, 27.
Yes,
B
sir.
division, roll number 28. B division, roll number 29. Fantastic. B division, roll number 30. I see B63 raising the hand. Yes, Siddhant, what's the query?
No, sir. So one was I had a question that was unrelated to what we're doing right now, but I'll ask.
Let's stick to what we are doing.
Yeah, so I'll ask that at the end. And second was I want to volunteer for this exercise.
Okay, fine. Let's go ahead. Good. Now, just now we are talking about list, and I said list is a collection data type.
Yes, sir.
Contiguous memory location. Now, where now we are already seeing a difference. In the previous slide we saw, suppose you have 5 variables. You can have 5 names, and to these 5 variables you can assign those 5 values. If you do that, what happens is you have 5 variables which are stored in a different memory location at different places. If you use a list, you can keep all of them together and they will all be in a contiguous memory location. Now, if you want to write to the list, it is easy by indexing it. The way you used to index it in an array, similar way you can do it in list. And same thing, the access is easy when you go as per the index. Okay. So now with this understanding, creating an empty list, and this is how we create it. We say sample underscore list is equal to opening and closing square bracket. Now here it is very important to note they are square bracket. In fact, by looking at the bracket, you can decide what is the type of the data that you are dealing with. So when you see the square bracket, you have to understand that you are dealing with a list. Is it okay? A67?
Yes, sir. It's a B63 though.
Sorry, B67?
63.
63. Okay, B63. Your good name is?
Siddhant, sir.
Okay, Siddhant. So is the first one clear to you, Siddhant? How to create an empty list?
Yes, sir.
Now here, this opening and closing square brackets are one of the very important ones. Next is creating a list with known size and known elements. So you know how many elements are supposed to be there. So you made sample list 1 in which you have mark, 5, jack, 9, chan, 5. Now the list can store both homogeneous and heterogeneous elements. This is an advantage that list has. Earlier you have studied arrays.
Yes,
When
sir.
it comes to arrays, the elements of the array must be of the same type. What it means is, if you have integer data type, all the elements must be of the integer data type.
Correct.
If you have a character data type, all of them should be of the character data type. If you are dealing with a string, all of them should be of the string. That is the restriction when it comes to arrays. But when it comes to list, if you observe, the first one is the string variable. And how do we understand? Because of these quotes, that is the string variable. Next one is 5, which is an integer. So string, then integer. Next one is again string. The next one is again integer, string, integer. So you could have multiple types of data in a same list, which facility is not available in the array. Okay, so that's how they differ. And I must say this is an advantage of the list. Okay, now list 2 is Mark, Jack, Sam. Now next is creating a list with known size and unknown elements. So you know many a times that list should be of this size, but you don't know exactly what is the content of that particular list. In that case, the way to do that is, in the square bracket we have none into 5. So what it will do is, it will create a space of size 5 where every element in that will be having a value none, and none means nothing. That's what it means.
So, sir,
Yes.
sorry, sir. Please continue.
Okay. So if you print it, if this particular thing is printed, you will get sample list is equal to opening square bracket none, comma none, comma none, comma none, comma none. So none 5 times you will get. So if anything you want to repeat, okay, if you have any matrix and you want to repeat it, the way to do that in Python is you have to do into 5. If you do that, you are going to have the multiple suffix. So though that none is going to be repeated 5 times. Okay.
Got it, sir.
Next is length of the list. So you say len. Len is the keyword, and in the bracket you are giving the list for which you want to find the length. Okay. So these are some of the important aspects of the link that you need to know. Now next is if you want to read some content from the list. So it says print sample list opening and closing square bracket with 2 inside. So that 2 indicates you want to access index number 2. Now at index number 2, what is the value? 9 printed. Next, we say sample list 2 is equal to James. Now, if you observe here, when you say sample list 2, you are accessing the index 2 and you are assigning this value James to the value at 2. So 2 is here. So instead of now 93634, the value that you are going to get there is going to be James.
So, sir, will the value 2364 now become 3? Or will it, so my question is, will it add James to the list or will it replace 2364 from the list?
Now, this is what we have.
Correct.
It is 93624. This will be replaced.
Replaced, right? Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. Now, there are other operations like adding an element to the end of the list and concatenating 2 lists. So if you want to add, there is an operation called append. So you can see it here. So you have name of the list, then there is a dot operator followed by this particular method which is called as append. What it will do is, it will append whatever is there inside a bracket at the end of the existing list. And concatenating, if you have 2 lists and you want to join them, you can do it by using the concatenating operation. So with this topic, now I'm going to ready. You can stay back or else you are free to go, everybody.
सर अपेंड के और ऐड भी होता है ना, डॉट ऐड या मतलब ऐड वर्ड यूज होता है ऐड करने के लिए.
Yes.
ये नोट्स कब शेयर होगा हम लोग के साथ?
आई बिलीव आज हो जाना चाहिए.
ओके सर.
Yeah.